Ellen McCauley, I pray it off in Syracuse, New York. Another topic that I have not broached since 2010 is personal accountability. Now, I want to talk to you from February 10th till April 14th. I had my own Ellen. I kicked butt. I was doing great. Fantastic. Then it was Easter. Then I went on a vacation that piggybacked 2 weekends. Then it was Mother's Day. And I'm feeling like my mojo took a real big hit. And I woke up this morning and I went, oh my gosh, back in the saddle. Did anyone force me to have anything extra on Easter or on Mother's Day or on vacation? No. I am accountable for everything. But I felt a little bloated. I was feeling like I got that little upper roll coming back again that I was trying to get rid of. I don't like that feeling. I'm accountable. No one forced me. You can't say, well, I'm a mother, I have to eat on Mother's Day. I have to have fattening foods, that's what Mother's Day is all about. No, but no one forced me. I am accountable. So many people in life are not accountable. They just blame everybody else but themselves. Some small children, their favorite thing is, it's not my fault. My sister Kathy used to always say, I didn't do anything. But she'd say, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Everyone always said, it's not my fault. They made me do it. The devil made me do it. It's not my job. No one told me. And, you know, so often we're overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed by life. We're overwhelmed by the news. And we spiral down. So, okay, you go on vacation. And I didn't do too bad on vacation. But then it was not only Mother's Day, it was my niece's birthday. And we went out to dinner on Friday. And we got together on Saturday. And then all of a sudden Sunday, it was a trifecta. And then I rolled. I said to Bob, I rolled out of the bowling alley. My balls didn't hit the pins, but I was hitting certain things I probably shouldn't have. We are not accountable for what happens beyond our control. What we eat is within our control. That's why there's so many eating disorders. Anorexia, bulimia. Neither one of those diseases are about food. It's about control. We, on the other hand, who might not suffer from those illnesses, still have issues. You know, there's a book that I got to get for my birthday. It's called She's Got Issues. I said, man, I could have wrote that, you know? And the thing is, we are using food because we can't control certain aspects of our lives. One person here said, the greatest fear we have is in getting in touch with our deepest feelings of love. That is not my greatest fear. I don't know where they're coming from. My greatest fear is the safety and protection of those I love. That's my greatest fear. And maybe getting in touch with my deepest feelings of love, I have to recognize that this life is intangible, that we have no control over it, that we have to trust God. And then it says, loving ourselves is the basis for personal accountability. If we love ourselves enough, we get back in the saddle. It doesn't mean you're not going to zig on vacation or zig on Mother's Day or zig on your niece's birthday or zig at Easter or zig, zig, zig. But as long as you still get back in the saddle, that's the most important thing. We can create a better life for ourselves when? Right now. This instant. We can start right now. Both women who cried at the scale last week did so good this week. They came to the meeting. They heard some nuggets that helped them. They could have quit. They could have gained more weight. But they tried and they came back. I love this. Become a possibilitarian. No matter how dark things seem to be, or actually are, raise your sights and see possibilities. Always see them. for they're always there. And that was by Norman Vincent Peale, who I love. And I also love Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he said, finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and some absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You should begin it well and serenely. That's tomorrow. What we really need to do is live today. And part of a personal accountability life is having a system. And this guy even calls it a PAS, a personal accountability system. And I, to a certain extent, have a personal accountability system that I don't call it that, but I've shared before that I write down everything in my day timer and I highlight the things that I've done. I write down my exercise, my prayers, I write down things that are my goals, I write down my food, and I do these things every day. And call my mother, I write that down every day. And I've never forgotten, but I write it down. It's part of my daily goals in life. There's people who get up and they're like winging it all day. What are we going to eat? I don't know. Where are we going to go? I don't know. Let's wing life, you know? I think to a certain extent, there might be some, I don't know, peace in winging life, but I think winging makes me nervous. You know, if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going or what you're eating, you know, something like that would make me nervous. To me, I like having a plan. I do well with the plan. And this guy suggests writing it down and putting in a 3-ring binder. Many of you have binders for your pray it off. Imagine getting a sheet of paper and writing a few goals down. Imagine that. Also, systems trump intentions. So if I say I'm going to do the daily rosary, that's my intention, right? I intend to do it. But if I say I'm going to get to the office at 6:00, I'm going to take that rosary, I'm going to think about the day, Thursday, that's the luminous mysteries. I'm going to close my office door and I'm going to walk all the way around first thing every day. That's my action, that I do it. I have an intention, but I have a system. System is go to office, put my stuff in my refrigerator, my desk, get my rosary, walk around, no one's there. You're not going to improve yourself or have a system if you don't have some sort of plan. And another thing is, so many people in life play the victim. And sometimes we are victims. I'm not talking about horrific child abuse. I'm not talking about getting beaten up in an alley. You're victims then. I'm not saying getting in a car accident from a drunk driver. But if you feel you're a victim because you're overweight, because you ate too much on Mother's Day, you're not taking accountability for yourself. One person here always says, you know what, Ellen, gained 2 pounds this week, but I'm fine with that. I enjoyed it. I had cake. I had bread this day. This week I'm going to cut back. That's fine. Do you think I've ever said, oh no, you can't do that? You either do good every minute of every second of your life, or you're out of here. No, I do not say that. Sometimes I say it to myself. I'm my own worst enemy. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely don't see myself as a victim. I mean, I try to have pity parties someday, poor me. I work so hard, I try so hard, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. You know, that's why I have the greatest sympathy for people who have such severe depression that they contemplate taking their own lives. Because we can't even fathom that. We can't even fathom that kind of depression. If we're depressed because we put on a couple pounds, it's not the same thing. We can always go, I'm putting my big girl panties on, I'm getting back in the saddle. We can either have a victim mentality and be in that victim loop. Oh, I lost weight, I gained weight, I'm at a plateau, womp, 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 womp. Or, okay, I'm here, I'm now, I'm gonna stop whining and complaining. And there's so many people who actually run their own club. It's called Ain't It Awful Club. Ain't it awful? The news of this, of that. My mother's a teeny bit, don't tell her I said this, a little bit ain't it awful. And I kind of bring her over to the positive side. She needs me for that. But I rarely tell people, like if someone says, how you doing? I usually say, fantastic. Because as soon as you say, oh my gosh, I'm working on this work project, and they only gave me 3 weeks, and I usually spend 6 months, and they're like, really? Because my boss gave me 3 days to do an even harder project than you. I mean, it's always about them. You know, this Ain't It Awful Club is not about you. So you need to take responsibility for yourself. I need to take responsibility for myself. And I need to create a plan, promote it, and just allow myself to be successful instead of sabotaging myself. We have power over our own life. We have the power. So many people think, well, you know, if you're in the Ukraine and you're living your life and all of a sudden another country attacks you, and you have to escape, that's powerless. We're in America right now. We can go to Wegmans, we can go to Price Chopper, we can go to all these, we can go wherever we want. Our biggest problem, shouldn't say our biggest problem, but one of the reasons we're here is because we tend to eat too much food. That is a blessing. I struggle with it. I admit I do. And I use food as, maybe not next week, but the week after, I want to talk about the clean plate syndrome again because I struggle with that from how I grew up. Now I have to put very little amount on because I know I have to finish it. Just the mere thought of throwing away food sends shivers up my spine, and we'll talk about that in another minute. I like this. So you choose. Would you rather play along with the possibility of being 100% accountable for your life, for your weight, for your happiness, for your joy? Or would you rather stick to the victim stance of, life happened to me and I had no choice? I don't think we want to look at life that way. I think we want to be in control. And I also like this next one. It's accountability and weight loss. And Pray It Off forces us to be accountable. Even though you're at the scale making every excuse under the sun, that number is still that number. And you're accountable for it, whether you want to take the accountability or not. It's your weight, it is what it is. So I feel coming here each week makes me accountable. I need it. I need it. And you know, I don't even find it depressing to think I may need it the rest of my life. I mean, there's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous that says, get thee to a meeting. Because life can be so stressful that people will say, you better get to a meeting, get thee to a meeting. Because we need these meetings to keep us on track. And the key is consistency. You know, I was so consistent from February 10th till April 14th. And then I'm like, I was so good. I'm just going to have a little on Easter. Oh, I wasn't so bad. Here's what. I wasn't so bad on vacation because I was busy and doing a lot of walking. And last weekend got me, 3 outs. I felt like some of you guys going out 3 days in a row. I mean, some of you go out 5 days in a row, I usually don't. So I like this. Group support is critical in weight loss accountability. We have that group support here. And it says that diets that work. Now, we don't really call Pray It Off a diet, and I don't like the word diet because I feel that any semi-permanent thing, like if you say, well, I'm going to not have, I'm going to go on Weight Watchers. If you can do it the rest of your life, fine, but that's the key, the rest of your life. We need to change our lifestyles. We need to have permanent styles and not short-term. And then there's even 3 ideas for weight loss accountability, and one is a food journal. this week I'm going to really take a time with your logs, because I have so much time, you guys know that. But I want to say that some of you aren't really doing a very good job on your food logs. And I think you know. There are some people that their food logs could be in the Museum of Art. They're beautiful. They have everything. They do it all. And they've been consistently more successful than the people who have these tepid. I'm thinking, how could you gain 5 pounds? You just have chicken and water on this food log. Did you eat 10 chickens? What? I don't get it. And then the positive attitude. That is so critical. You know, life at times has tried to eat me up and spit me out, but there was always that unsinkable Molly Brown in me. You know, to get up, dust myself off, and get back in the race. Every Thursday when I see you come down that hall, I think they're unsinkable. They're back in the race. And an exercise journal. Your exercise, I think you're, like one person says, every time they write 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile. I walk 1 mile a day going to the bathroom. What is 1 mile? That's 2,260 steps. That's nothing. You're bragging about that? You know, really, you got to put down 20 minutes of some exercise. You don't put down 1 mile because you think Ellen will say, oh, they're doing a mile. Wow, I won't. Also, attend the meeting. Talk to your table friends for support and be honest with them. Nobody's come up to me and said, Ellen, you got to move me. I hate those people. No one. No one has said that. I do notice that some of you are segueing into other topics. I put down so many topics on there to keep you guys on track. So try to stay there. Also, if you have an idea for a meeting, I am so open. If you were to say to me, you know, Ellen, I really would like to do a video for the blog and tell the whole world what Pray It Off's meant to me. Do you think I would say, no, you can't do that? I'd be like, Bob, get the camera. You guys have an idea, I'll do it. Also, make your measurements public. Let's do that next week, okay? I'll start. I'm 36, 24, 36. And if you add them all up and move them around a little bit, you might get somewhat close. Happiness is between your 2 ears, and so is a healthy lifestyle. I put a recipe in here for sauteed Brussels sprouts. I love them with a passion. This is a girl who did not, look, I started talking about food and everyone's like, I thought I didn't like Brussels sprouts because my mother would boil them. Sorry, Mom, I'm not trashing you, I promise. But this sauteed or like baked, they're so good. And on here it's got a handful of Parmesan feta or goat cheese. It says optional, so that's what optional means, okay? And I want to stop right there, Bob.